Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be tearing down this head here, ripping the valves out of it, as you can see right there, and getting it torn down. We'll remove the paint from it, and then next video we'll vapor blast it, and I'll probably do some porting, which should be fun. If you guys missed last video, it was a good one. We finished getting the bottom end, at least on this side, back together with this cool clutch case and the covers. So let's jump into it with getting this head torn down. Alright, to start off, I'm going to get this spark plug out of here. Stock spark plug tool that comes with the bike. You can see that guy is pretty dirty. He's got a bunch of rocks in there. They're probably sitting at the bottom of the hole. And there's a vent hole on the other side that's open. So we'll throw a new one in once we get the bike going back together, but for now I'm gonna remove the coolant pipe for the head here, and we're basically trying to get this head down to nothing. Looks like the O-ring stayed in. I'll take out the bolt for the exhaust, and for the stud I'm gonna thread the nut on backwards and grab another one and a 12 wrench. So I'm gonna put this wrench on first, and then the first nut, and now I'm gonna get another one, and with my impact here, get it on there nice and tight, and if you're lucky it'll take the whole stud out. It looks like that one is not coming out. I'll get it later, might have to heat it up. So I'll get started on the bottom ones, see if any of these will come out. Need to get these out so we can surface the head. Usually that's how it goes. I'm going to thread it in a little bit, put the wrench back on, and you can loosen them off. That exhaust one's probably just extra stuck on because it gets so hot. And I'll probably replace this stud because it's a little corroded. We'll see how expensive they are. And you can see a little bit of corrosion there. I'll get this other one that's M8. And I'll probably get some new nuts too, because this it's hard on them. And for these, same thing. So hopefully shouldn't need quite as much force. Yep, that one was pretty loose. Right now all we have to do is get these two dowel pins out and get this other stud out if I can. Try to one more time. And there we go. Just need to get a better lock on them. And our head is almost down to nothing now. While I'm on this side, I'm going to rip out the seal for the decompression. Jeez. And this one dowel pin is free. The other one is rusted in for some reason. So what you do if you get a rusted dowel pin like this one right here is you get a drill bit, which I have right here, which fits pretty well in there, and then you grab some vice grips, kind of get them preset, and try to keep them off of the base area. Clamp them down on it and slowly work it, especially since this is critical head surface here. Slowly work it back and forth until it frees up. It's gonna have to be replaced anyway, so this is moving slowly. And there it is. So you can see right here where the vice grip bites into it, but that takes it out when they're really stuck in there. Unfortunately, you gotta replace them, but I'd rather replace one and have a good fresh new one than trying to fit it back together with an old rusty one. So that trick usually works out pretty well. And now I think we are down to just needing to get these valves out of here. And there's a bolt down there, which you guys probably can't see, but I don't think that needs to come out. So let me get a paper towel so I can mark all of the springs and the valves, so when I take them out, they're in the right order, so I can put them back in the right order. All right, now what we gotta do is get these springs, valves, and the keepers out. So I've got a Tusk valve spring compressor here. So we've got the bar, the main bar, all the little attachments on the end, and one of these should do it. We'll have to see once we get it set up. So it's gonna go on to this end. That's got the detent on it. It goes in like that. And we've got this bar to turn this. And if I remember right, thread this in here. And this guy actually needs to go over here. That's what presses on the valve spring. And then on this side, we need to figure out which one fits the valves. Looks like that one will work. So that's basically the setup right there. You got one big one on the bottom, one smaller one on the top. And basically, when it goes on, it's gonna hold the valve like this. And from the other side, we can do this first one here. I'll do the exhaust, wiggle it on there, and then you gotta thread this guy down till it's on the valve spring, like so. Let me drop the camera down here. So you can see it's on the valve spring. And now we take this little bar here and we can start threading it in, and it's gonna hold the valve from the piston side and press the spring down from this side. Looks like it was caught right there. It's coming now. And grab a magnet. Usually a magnet will do it. Stick it down here and pick up the little keepers. There's one of them. You press down a little more to get the other one. And basically all these do is they're kind of tapered, as you can see. Probably not, but they're tapered. They fit into the end of the spring basically, and there's a little groove right there which fits into the valve, which keeps it all assembled. I'm gonna put those right there for now. It's easy to take this stuff apart, but it's really hard to put it back together. So now we can thread the tool off here. Once you get it loose, you can do it by hand. And now we have the valve spring itself. This is a yellow spring. Get the tool off, and from the piston side, you can press the valve out, and there's the valve. Titanium valves, intake and exhaust, straight from Yamaha. You can see where the valve guide is, where there's no carbon built up, and there's not much to see inside this port here, except you can see through the valve guide a little bit, but it's super black because it's the exhaust. So I'm gonna leave that guy on my paper towel here. And now that you guys know how to do it, I'll time lapse through the rest of them. Check out this intake valve here, guys. This is the one closer to the exhaust side of the bike, closer to the clutch, and it's got a bunch of crap on it. It needs to be replaced. Some of that will clean up, but looks like the valve stem seal might have been leaking or something. Must have just been that one valve that had an oil leak, because this center one, the one that is the problem, as you can see, it's kind of tuliped out. This one's all clean, so that one must have just been had its time. Last one here, and this one must have been leaking a little bit too. Looks like it's sealed up a little bit because it's dry, but man, that thing is caked. No wonder this thing was getting slow. But that is it for the valves. We have a valveless head here now. So now what we gotta do is get the valve stem seals out. So I need to get some needle nose pliers, and then below that there are the bottom spring seats that we gotta get off, and then this head is pretty much ready. Then we gotta get the paint off. The only reason we gotta get the paint off, I don't know if you guys can see, but there is a nasty scratch right there. Who knows how that happened, but it kind of looks bad now, so. And there's a beautiful scratch. Someone at Yamaha, since this has never been apart, scratched the head pretty bad right there, all highlighted on screen. But anyway, there's nothing we can do about that except face it, which we'll do. But I gotta get all these valve stem seals out. Hopefully these valve stem seals are pretty easy. They're getting replaced. Anyway, there's the first one. This is the one that had a leak, and it's hard to say. There's a little bit of green rubber sticking out right there. That could have been just from me, but that might have had something to do with how it was leaking. Here's one exhaust there, not metal, so I ripped it, and there's a little bit of metal on it that came off. There's the little outer ring. See if I can get the other one off a little bit better. A little better, but these things like to squish. Alright, that is everything. This head is down as much as I can get it. We're not going to take out the valve guides or the valve seats. We're just going to clean it up, get the paint off, vapor blast it, port it, do all the stuff we can do pretty easily. Alright, now that we have the valves out here, I'm going to work on cleaning up the combustion chamber. Right here you can see I already got a little bit of the carbon off, and I want to try and get as much of the carbon as I can off of here without using any abrasives. That'll just help to maintain the combustion dome's volume, and we are going to face it, so that'll in theory decrease the volume just a tiny little bit. But what's 1/10,000th of material really gonna do? So I'm just using some brake cleaner, and as you can see, I'm working on the outside right now, and most of this stuff is coming off pretty easy. It's a little bit thicker right here, so I'm gonna use a pick to kind of break the surface and to keep going. Same thing in the main combustion dome area. I'll break the surface of the carbon a little bit with this pick. Be careful around the valve seats, and if there's some of the stuff that's really stubborn, what I'll do is I'll come back with a little wire cup for a drill and put the valves back in and go over this area and get it super clean. Alright, I got out a wire cup for the Dremel, so I'll see how it does. I can be more precision with this than a drill. Some of this stuff is pretty stuck on there, but a bunch of it was starting to come off with this wheel that is about done. To go any farther, I'm gonna need to put the intake valves in too, so I might as well. Alright, I think that is pretty good for the combustion chamber. I'll do a final polish later, but for now, way better than it was. We still gotta surface it, so I'm gonna finish getting the rest of this stuff off of the area that needs to be surfaced and still needs to be ported. And I'm not gonna do too much with the porting. I'll get all the casting finish off of the intake and exhaust port, and I'll probably do a little bit of grinding in there to open things up, but we'll see where we end up with that. But anyway, there's the combustion chamber now. Pretty clean, way better than it was. Let me pop out these valves again. But anyway, we got this head torn apart. That was the goal for today, so it worked out. went pretty smoothly. So next video, I'll do some porting. We'll get this paint removed off of this head, and I'll get a vapor blasted so that the video after that, we can put this thing back together and get it ready to go onto these cases. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great day.